watching Weasel News.
Camera nearby.
Welcome to this last town hall of the 7th legislature on August 21st, 2023. So I'd like to welcome our members of various department heads for their attendance tonight. So welcome, esteemed members of the public as well. Welcome. Governor is here, Lieutenant Governor as well, and 3 of your legislators are also present tonight. First thing, I would just like to remind everybody that this event is catered. It is to no charge to you, so there is a Tobin's vehicle outside. So if you want to pick up some food after the town hall, during the town hall, whatever you want, then you can just go outside and pick up some food, and we're happy to bring that to you, again, free of charge. So we're just going to proceed in a round table. I'm going to ask the department heads, including the governor, to speak to see if there's any new order of business or anything that they want to share with the members of the public at large. And after that, we're going to open it to the members of the public that are in attendance for any type of questions that they might have. Starting off with Governor Ryan Avery. Good evening, sir.
Hello, guys. Don't ever fucking call me sir. Hello, guys. So I do have an actual serious claim. I know I like to be haha funny, but I was informed that there were some Kyoperican spies in the borders here trying to get close to government officials. The Free Leader Juan Pablo reached out to me and sent some, threatening messages. So I went over to Cayo earlier today, and we got some names of 2 individuals. The police, I'll be handing it to them later this day, probably right at the end of this. I do believe they have ill intent. From what I heard, one of them wanted to target the ranger station, I believe, because they said, "Fuck Mother Nature. I hate Mother Nature, and I hate blonde women." That's an exact quote from Juan Pablo. But other than that, that's the most serious thing I really had to talk about. But we do have 2 known spies in the state, and I don't know how many more extra we do have. So those are we have 2 confirmed.
All right, thank you, Governor. Lieutenant Governor. Floor is yours, Mr. Key.
Cool. Hi, everyone. Just the small update of we will be posting the interest for the infrastructure patrol starting tomorrow. That'll probably go up until maybe I'm trying to think of the time frame we would shut off the interest, probably around the 26th, 27th, and then we'll do interviews, and we should hopefully have somebody in place properly by the beginning of September 1st. So that's the main thing, but I also want to just express how much I appreciate those that have supported us throughout this entire term. Since it's about to come to an end here with the with election season going. So thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all for the calls. Thank you all for keeping me on top of my job and making sure that I was, staying on top of everything. And just wanted to say I appreciate it and hopefully look forward to sitting before you again come next term.
Perfect. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. I'll toss it back now to the Public Defender's Office with your newly elected section head, so to speak, Adrian Drex.
Oh, sorry, I was talking, but nobody could hear me. Hello, hi, I'm Adrian, which probably most of you know because I used to be Lieutenant Governor. So I have been very recently sworn in. Shut up, Liam. I've very recently been sworn in as the State Public Defender. For right now, what I was doing behind the scenes was a lot of preparing for the position, getting SOPs written, getting just basically the paperwork that we needed written. And now that I have been sworn in, we're just going to keep doing kind of what we've been doing, representing people, working on relations between departments, etc. So.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Department of Justice.
McGrath, I'm the state attorney for the DOJ. The DOJ has nothing really of note to share. We would like, however, to congratulate the LSPD on their amazing win over BCSO. once again proving that LSPD is a superior department. I like to give my hands out to that. They did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wait,
Woo,
what'd you win?
LSPD! Wow! Woo!
They won a football game. For anyone confused.
I practiced in my backyard.
All right. Well, speaking of policing, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Lee of the LSPD.
I have my Lieutenant Gabriella Kennedy speak on my behalf.
Hello. Not much is changing with the PD. We are doing interviews for some new possible hires, so keep an eye out for those newbies. We will be bringing them in shortly. Lamb, you have anything on MCD?
Nothing on MCD standpoint.
Yeah, just getting out there, keeping the streets safe. And we did
Okay.
win 84 to 77, just so everyone else knows the count for the football game.
Solid win. Solid win. All right. Congrats to the LSPD. I see. We have, I think, some fans from both sides in the room. I'm just going to leave it at that. We're going to move over to the Rangers. I see that Charlie's here. Good evening.
Hello, I'm Charlie Morgan, Head Ranger. There's not much for us either. We're currently just training up our current parks employees. We have a few more left to get through the training program. They're part of our parks division, which you may or may not know about. If you don't know about them, they are the non-law enforcement side of the parks department, so they will be helping with education and community outreach. It's their bread and butter. We're very excited to have more of them on board. So if you need licensing or anything like that, they're the ones to speak to. If you're looking for any advice on hikes or events that you're going to be running up in any of our jurisdictional areas, please get in contact with one of the parks division or any of our rangers, and they'll be more than happy to help you out.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I'm just going to turn it over to Rick Walling from SAS. Good evening, Rick. I know you're kind of last minute into this one, but is there anything you'd like to share on SAS's behalf, or is everything status quo for now?
Interim director, and we're just trying to get things up and running again.
Perfect. Good news. Any hiring coming up or anything like that? Or
Working on that currently.
okay, perfect. Keep your eyes out for some potential SAS hiring in the future. We're going to end with your legislative branch with the Straight Treasurer, Cassier Taylor.
As far as the books for the Treasury, everything looks to be in line. There wasn't much in regards to general spending this month. So those that have any outstanding invoices, please make sure that you get those submitted to me with ample time before end of month if you do intend to get paid out for your invoices.
Perfect. State Secretary Representative Devlin.
Still working on the amendments to the copyright bill, other than the ones that Representative Dimick put up for the representative to look and read over, but nothing concrete.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Representative Devlin. I'll follow that up with exactly what he said is the part of the amendment on the copyright bill has been put up, and this just Cole's notes of it is that it tosses the legal responsibility of enforcement into the Department of Justice's hand, basically, is what it does. And that is pretty much it for now. So at this point, have I missed any departments, governmental departments? I think I've hit everybody.
Hello, Vlad Pachenko, Chief Pilot from SAFA, down here at the other end.
Sorry I missed you, sir. Yes, go ahead. Floor is all yours.
Yes, so like the other departments, we're also just training up the last couple people for this training wave. And as a note to the public, please do not drive on the runways. If you'd like to be using the runway for car testing, please just get in contact with a member of SAFA, and we'll be more than happy to close the runway for you. That is it from SAFA.
Thank you very much. Public Works. I see. Is Public Works here?
Yes, hello, Aaron
Hi.
Murphy, co-director of Public Works. Right now, again, we're also finishing up some hiring, but we do not have our apps open at this time as we are revamping some SOPs and procedures and cleaning up our current roster. The big thing for the public is we promoted a new manager, Sue James, so she'll be helping with the SOP updates and training, but she's also somebody you can talk with if you see her around to give feedback, good or bad, towards any of our team members who you encounter on a daily basis. If there are any issues with anybody at Public Works, please don't hesitate to reach out, either via a phone call to one of our team members, a 211, or we have a feedback form that's at our HQ. You can fill that out. It's where there's a table to the right of the entrance of the headquarters when you walk in that's got a bunch of forms on it. You'll see a feedback form. Feel free to fill that out. That goes directly to senior leadership at Public Works, and we do take a look at all of those.
Thank you very much, Aaron, for that. I do believe this is the tail end of the governmental departments. Going once, going twice, perfect.
I do actually have one other thing to say. This is more of a personal problem that I'm dealing with, but I feel like it should be made a little bit public. I do have two individuals who claim to be strip dancers trying to assassinate and extort me for money. So if you see two women highly dangerous looking for my location, please don't give it to them.
That is a very bad descriptor.
Do you know how
What do
little
you
that
mean?
narrows it down?
I must say, that's a very bad description.
Women don't talk to me, bro. So if women start asking for me, there's a problem.
Okay, I'm sure that will be of interest to our policing
Self-burn.
counterparts. Maybe? Question mark. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Rai. On that note, turn it over to the members of the public in attendance in an orderly fashion for any questions. Please feel free to just go ahead.
Hi, yeah, mate.
Okay, go ahead.
What, right. I got a question for you.
What do you want?
You said there was women after you?
Looking to hurt me? Yes.
You sure about that?
I am very, very sure because they have made open threats to me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I thought they maybe just wanted a little piece of the old governor pie.
No. I'm highly unattractive to women.
What do you
Apparently.
mean? You're a good-looking man. You're my grandson.
I wear a
You gotta
mask,
be
bro.
good-looking, otherwise I wouldn't let you be my grandson. Duh.
Bruh.
Who let this guy in? Anyone?
Rick. It was Rick.
Rick, what? Do your job. What the fuck are you doing?
I might need Magistrate Tarts' gavel there in a few seconds. Okay, any other questions or comments?
Yes, actually, I'll take the floor if that's all right. I've been digging into the CLAM Act, which is also the known as the Act, which means that civil disputes need to be settled within 30 days. I was just wondering, when it comes to this act, it essentially seems to only work if the government departments are providing information in a timely manner and completing all of the internal paperwork. I was just wondering, is there any way to track that? Is there any system in place? Because effectively, the way the CLAM is written, the government can kind of just stall for 30 days and essentially be immune to civil action in court.
Hey, absolutely. Nice to meet you again, Ms. Lawson, self-professed corrupt politician. To answer your question about this, the CLAM Act says you only have to file within 30 days. So if you file and ask the courts to help provide you information about your claim, you can absolutely file and meet the standards of the CLAM Act. You have to file within 30 days of incident.
And what would you suggest in instances where the paperwork does not exist? I can tell you from when I was a police administrator, we occasionally had instances where someone came in with a FOIA.
Well, a lot of things have
I'd
changed
look up-
since you broke the law, Miss Lawson, so I'll happily inform you. Again, if you file your claim within 30 days, you meet the satisfaction of the Clam Act. If you have problems obtaining paperwork, you can ask the courts to help you do that.
I
That is the purpose
understand.
of the courts.
I would appreciate it if you could let me finish my point, since this is where the public has the floor. So in instances where paperwork has not been completed, as is marked as a work in progress, what ramifications would be in place for officers who are essentially blocking the possibility of civil legislation or civil action? Sorry.
Well, honestly, if an officer does not finish a report, they don't have much to stand on. So your claims, if you can back them up, would probably hold more merit.
Absolutely. Peach Knives was here at the last town hall. I believe she spoke with Chief Lee as well. They are dealing with a case where her husband was nearly killed and the paperwork was simply not filed. I believe it is currently going through the courts, but of course the Clam Act makes that significantly more difficult. I spoke with Magistrate Tarts, and he suggested that in this case, the 30 days from which the harm has been inflicted, that could be, the harm could be relative, right? Like it could be the discovery of the paperwork not being filed, but that's highly subjective and would be subject to a judge's discretion and setting precedent, correct?
That's how most everything in courts work, correct? Yes, it is up to judge's discretion.
Right. So I'm sure you can see the problem with such a subjective value when the paperwork and, I'm sure that the courts will be happy to assist any member of the public who asks for assistance with these. I just feel like the process of asking for assistance is perhaps not as clear as it could be.
Well, I'm sure you have your own opinions, and that's fair. I 100% respect your opinion, no matter what they may be. But in this situation, that bill was written to give the judiciary extreme discretion, as in to help levy issues like that against departments that do abuse it, if that is what's happening. I can't speak on any kind of current case against the state, as that would be a perjury of my station. However, I can say the judiciary does have an extreme breadth of discretion to help, and they might understand and honestly are probably more willing to side with the public if there is any kind of obstruction on a state level, right? Which I'm sure you know about.
Of course, it's just interesting. I know that the Knives have been going through several judges, several layers of law enforcement in order to get the files that they would need to prove harm done for this lawsuit. And I just worry that that could set a precedent that citizens would not want to file legitimate claims because they feel discouraged against it. I would love to hear from Representative Dimmick, actually, as I believe he is the one who submitted the Clam Act.
If I may real quick, because I don't want to cut you off, to comment on the law enforcement aspect in terms of the knife situation as you keep bringing it up. The moment law enforcement was aware, and the first time we was aware of this situation was at last town hall, the situation has been addressed and dealt with from law enforcement side. So sometimes it is the matter of law enforcement being told regarding reports for it to be addressed, and they get addressed very quickly, as in this case it did get addressed.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm concerned that if it takes showing up to town halls and haranguing on top of, visiting the station and reminding officers to ensure that the files are in place, it will, again, effectively allow for stonewalling. Now that I know the judiciary has the breadth to address that, that is certainly good to know.
I mean, to comment on that, obviously officers do handle a lot of situations, and I'm sure Lieutenant Gabriella Kennedy can comment more onto the auditing aspect. But as we did state last, that we do have an audit team that does their very best, and we've also reached and tried to be in extreme communication with the Knives on this situation. So if in this case they do believe that a report is missing, and ultimately, which may not be the case, but as it is protected information, I am not going to comment further on the report and the situation around that unless the Knives want to contact us directly. Sometimes it is a matter of just having a talk and coming to the station and filing it, instead of holding off for 1 month and something extra days in order to get this situation addressed. If Lieutenant Gabriella Kennedy wants to comment more on the audit, then I'll let her talk on that side.
Yes. Any other reports or concerns from officers or documents that need to be filed within the state, Everything can be handled, whether it's a supervisor or a corporal. We do take statements, we do take complaints, and auditing does look through every single report that officers create and deal with every single situation that needs to be dealt with. I can tell you there are thousands of audits throughout the entire force. We are very thorough. We check everything. And if there is something that's missing or isn't filed accordingly, it is checked, it is worked on, and we go through it every single detail.
Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. Representative Dimmick, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Clam Act and whether you think, from your perspective as a legislator, whether it has caused any obstructions for the public.
I've not heard of it causing any obstructions. I mean, I think what Mr. McGrath said is quite accurate, that the filing must be done within 30 days, and that's the statutes on that. I mean, if it's not filed within 30 days, that is on the citizen to be informed as to, you know, what it is. But we're talking about the back end process, and you know, we're saying that sometimes there might be issues in getting documentation, but that does not prevent the filing itself. And as DOJ said, they would be more willing to help the people if they're having issues with that as well. So I don't know what else you want to hear from me regarding that, but in my world,
I mean, you're the person who submitted it, right? So I would assume you have feelings or thoughts, some sort of principle that you might want to stand behind regarding it.
The principle is the bill. That's what I stand behind, what was written and the way it was presented.
Thank you.
Just pausing for a moment to see if there's any.
Jacob Wheeler on the White Hoodie. It's regarding, for the legislator, regarding your copyright legislation, and I guess the judiciary, since that's who the copyright is about to be amended to. The original legislation that defines the Board of Education, HR 151, makes no reference of copyright powers at all. It doesn't say that they oversee anything having to do with copyright. So is it legally in your authority to grant them powers over copyright if it's not in their original legislation? And then if it's not, can you have the power to amend that authority to another department with the wave of a pen?
Hello, my name is Maxine Finch. I don't mean to interrupt him answer the question. I'll let him do so afterwards. I was appointed chairman of the Board of Education about a few hours ago. Everything involving the Board of Education is being pushed to the judiciary, and they'll determine what goes on afterwards.
No, I understand that, but the original point, Maxine, was that HR 151, which was written way before the copyright was pushed to the legislative, has no mention and no reference to the Board of Education having anything to do with copyright legislation or the licensing or taking money or fees. There's not a single mention of the term copyright in HR 151. So if the Board of Education was never given the authority and the oversight over copyrights, is it within their ability to simply push it to the judiciary? With that, you never had the authority in the first place, and you being the Board of Education. So if you never had the authority in the first place to manage copyrights, why can you simply give it to the judiciary? And why is the judiciary of all people managing copyrights in the city of Los Santos?
Well, I can happily answer from a legal application if you'd like, Maxine.
Sorry. No, you go ahead.
So, to understand copyright law, right? It's a very complex topic, but even in most other states, it's handled by a judiciary body. Right, there are laws in place about violating copyrights. There are laws in place about submitting copyrights and patents and other technical documents that outline ownership of ideas, thoughts, and creations. Okay, so San Andreas, barring having any kind of substantial understanding or application of those technical documents, the creation of those documents, right? Currently, there is no real thing saying they don't have authority. right? The issue comes down to, per se, is if a bill is written and it names an adjudicator or an adjudicating body for a bill, right? Like I said, a copyright bill. If a bill names an adjudicating body such as the department or the Board of Education or department within the government that now has this authority granted, that is a legal way to do that. You don't have to edit the original document that established their department. Right.
That's all I need. That's all I was asking.
Thank you.
As a member of the public, I have a question regarding. I don't believe MCD is here tonight.
You have two of us standing right here.
There's
right
a
here.
lieutenant and a sergeant detective.
I apologize. I am blind as a bat. Good evening, MCD. I was just inquiring to see if there's any update on the blackouts. I know we had some earlier today. Last we spoke, Lieutenant Jay Lamb said that they had no clear idea whether it was intentional or unintentional. I reached out to them as Weasel News at the time and found out from Green Power that they were being attacked. I was wondering if there had been any other further results into the investigations.
So we are currently looking into the cause of the blackouts. We still don't have a definitive reason for it. However, we can't really say whether it's criminal activity or if it's just simply rolling blackouts. It is being looked into. I believe Lamb has more information.
Yeah, also to follow on that, if you or any other news company is in contact with, the power company or the power company themselves would like to come and talk to the law enforcement officers regarding where they feel it's an attack or not, we would be more than willing to have that conversation with them. But as nobody has approached us on these matters, obviously there's only so much we can do and the capacity that we have, and every blackout does not indicate that it is a criminal intent. And sometimes the city may just have power blackouts like every other city in the world. But if anybody here or listening would like to come and talk to law enforcement or MCD regarding blackouts, and if they have any information that it is malicious intent, such as the power company, we would be happy to talk with them. But we would like to hear from them first, as no one has made any attempt to coordinate with us regarding these attacks. And if nothing's reported, we can only investigate so far.
They seem to be hard to contact, but I can relay what was spoken to us.
That would be highly appreciated.
Actually, if no one else will take the floor, I have a segue to another question. I'm curious how the law enforcement effort to establish press communications is going.
I could kind of answer that. I stepped down as director of correspondence for Weasel today, but prior to that, MCD and Weasel News, for example, had begun a now several month-long conversation between each other, an email chain, and we remain in contact.
Mm-hmm.
It has prevented FOIAs from going through into court. Hello?
If I, as Maxine has stated, MCD does have active communication with both the Daily Globe and Weasel News. Obviously, if there is any other company out there that would like to set up some sort of communication with us, we're more than willing to arrange that. But that's from MCD's standpoint. I will allow Lieutenant Gabriella Kennedy on behalf of LSPD to coordinate from her side.
So our community outreach program, also known as COP, is currently in the works of trying to set some stuff up for further communication with the public, which includes reaching out to Weasel News and Daily Globe, or the just general public with events that we host to meet new people and give you guys information that you might have questions on.
As the owner of the Daily Globe, I would just like to specify that we have been in contact with both LSPD and MCD, and no complaints on my side about the communications.
Perfect. So glad to hear that.
Anybody else have anything before we look at closing this off? Okay. Again, Toe Beans is outside. Feel free to grab some food on your way out. I would just like to remind everybody that mark your calendars for Wednesday the 23rd. That's in a couple of days, in about 48 hours, a bit less than that. The governor and lieutenant governor debates for candidates is happening at 7 p.m. Eastern. And for the legislative debate, state representative candidates, this is going to be Sunday the 27th, and that is at 3 p.m. So mark your calendars. It's in your event calendar in your phone if you have that downloaded as an app as well. In closing, I'd like to thank everybody for attending and having an open discussion. The next one obviously is going to be in September at some point, and it's going to be with the new Congress. So this is going to be our last one for the 7th. So I'm seeing attendance coming up in these things drastically, and I hope that momentum can continue. So again, thanks everybody, governmental, members of the public, esteemed guests. Thanks everybody for attending, and have yourselves a good night.
Rangers on top, yeah!
Thank you guys for voting me into office.
Hey, Luna, do you have anything you want to say?
Do anything you want to? Okay.
Yep. I agree. All right, and that's from Luna.
Was she saying right?
That's pretty true.
They say
He
right,
represents
right.
the canines.
I heard right.
Hey, turn up, bro.
Thank you guys for voting me into office, but I fucking hate this job.
Who are you?
Jesus fucking Christ!
I mean,
Yay,
that's,
Rai Rai.
that's basically
Go Rai
echoed
Rai.